Being an amazing product marketing leader doesn't happen by chance. It happens by habit. Product marketing certified leadership has been built on the back of decades worth of experience from some of the world's best known brands with one goal in mind: helping you be the best leader you can be. Crammed with real life case studies, over 12 hours worth of content, templates, exams, and more, this course is everything you need to lead with authority, confidence, influence, and innovation. Every piece of material within the 7 modules and 29 chapters has been vetted, tested, and approved by senior level product marketers from companies like Amazon, Uber, and HubSpot, serving up game-changing insights throughout. By the time you've wrapped up the final module, you'll be able to define what it takes to be a great product marketing leader, build and scale your team, understand how to successfully manage your existing team, use methods for leveraging data, know how to become the voice of the customer, understand how teams work cross-functionally, and improve your strategic thinking. The beauty of the course is you'll have the freedom to work your way through the modules at a pace to suit you. It's 100% self-paced. You'll even get lifetime access to the curriculum, paving the way for refresher sessions forevermore. Visit productmarketingalliance.com to get leadership certified and spearhead your journey to the top.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria Massad and I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager at G2. I'm really excited to be here at the Product Marketing Festival today, talking to all you wonderful people passionate about product marketing, about how to do cross-functional collaboration one step better than you're doing it now by designing stakeholder buy-in. When I first joined G2, I knew that it would be paramount to get alignment with my new team before embarking on creating new messaging, positioning, and any other marketing materials that would stem from that messaging, with the help from a select few key individuals who needed to be involved. I'm hoping you'll take away 3 key ideas from my experiences at G2 and past gigs, in addition to a useful framework for how you can achieve alignment across teams. The first is how to own your own expertise while honoring multiple perspectives. The second is how to focus stakeholders on the things that matter. And lastly, how to establish mutual understanding with small agreements. My talk is probably going to be most useful for individual contributors, but there should be some golden nuggets still in here for people managers as well. So let's dig in. Imagine yourself getting on your favorite theme park ride. You get in the flume or cart, and then you're off. For me, my favorite ride is Peter Pan's Flight at Disneyland. It's an atypical ride where you strap yourself into a ship attached to a beam above you instead of something bolted to the ground. And then you fly over London, feeling like you're about to be transported to Neverland. What might not seem so obvious is that as you fly above the Thames, your attention is directed in very specific ways. The ride experience was carefully designed so that you notice the things that the Imagineers want you to see. Imagineers are what Disney calls their engineers focused on building and designing theme park rides. Your attention might roam, but everywhere you look has something that pulls your attention back to where it's supposed to be to maximize your enjoyment. There's always one central theme to the ride and one scenario per room of the ride that you're meant to be looking at that connects the different parts of the room together. It's a pretty difficult job to design these types of experiences while also not being super obvious to the riders that you are subtly influencing their perceptions of the ride. But Imagineers are able to build rides that people love by directing their attention to the things that matter to create a great guest experience. And that's what product marketers have to do when facilitating cross-functional work. Granted, we're not designing theme park rides, and Our stakeholders aren't going to be soaring through Neverland or above London, but we are directing attention during cross-functional conversations that uncover value for our customers. Getting teams to align is difficult, but add in stakeholders who are opinionated and stubborn, and you've got your work cut out for you. As product marketers, we can learn a thing or two from the creators of theme park rides. We have to purposefully design experiences to develop stakeholder relationships, get alignment across teams, drive value for the customer, and empower ourselves to get the information we need to do product marketing successfully and fully own the positioning and messaging with help from more knowledgeable, more experienced individuals on your team. If you don't take the time to devise how you're going to get what you need to be successful, it's going to be more difficult to pull people's thoughts together in a cohesive way to drive people in the same direction. You've got to put your Imagineering cap on and think about how you'll direct your chosen stakeholders' attention so that they can articulate their thoughts in a productive manner that helps you do your best work. Otherwise, chaos ensues. I found that a workshop format, even in a virtual environment, is the best way to get creative juices flowing and get people energized about how they are contributing to the bigger picture. Before we dive into the actual workshop framework, I want to make sure I clarify that product marketing is not simply collecting feedback. I'm not saying that feedback is bad. Quite the opposite. I view feedback as a gift when executed well. But after being structurally required to go through multiple rounds of review by 17 different stakeholders across various teams at previous stops, that is not feedback, and it's not constructive. That's an endless merry-go-round that sets product marketing up to never please anyone and never meet anyone's expectations. Product marketing isn't, or rather, shouldn't be about pleasing people. It should be about bringing the voice of the customer to strategic creative marketing that you are able to fully own. Product marketers don't just want feedback. We crave alignment to move our entire team in the right direction that gets everyone on board in ways that won't eliminate the voice of product marketing from the table. Just because product marketing is facilitating cross-functional conversations doesn't mean that we don't deserve a seat at the strategy table. And so, in order to do that, we need to facilitate conversations that help stakeholders come together around the most important drivers that can help us write the best messaging and move forward with a strategy that aligns everyone across the whole business. So, I put together a framework to help you get there. First, you'll need to identify who needs to be in the room with you when you facilitate these workshops. This depends on how your organization is structured. You'll likely need representatives from product, sales, and customer success at minimum. Aim for less than 10 voices in the room, and that includes yourself, and if they want to attend, your manager. Separate to this core group, you'll also need a good note taker. Now, this clearly depends on the size of your business unit and organization, but there is such a thing as having too many cooks in the kitchen. Identify who can provide the most value and define those requirements to be easily referenceable. If you need to, you can always loop others in once the core team you establish is aligned on the most important points that feed your product story. Once you've gotten your invitation list together, it's time to start thinking about what questions you need answered in order to create your best work. What is the goal of your collaboration? This process usually starts by putting yourself in the shoes of the customer and empathizing with them. This is a great time to uncover more of who they are so you can create more compelling stories that resonate with them. Ask questions about their needs, preferences, and wants, including wants they aren't even aware they have. Why are their problems their problems? And why does your product solve them? Take it from a surface level dive into attributes and characteristics and truly dive deep into behaviors, dialing into the values they hold. Getting the right questions together is the most important piece of this whole exercise. Fail to ask the right questions, and the entire workshop is at risk of falling apart or derailing into a side conversation that isn't helpful or productive to the group. Next, you'll want to construct your workshop. Activities are the best way to rally people around a common goal. They're engaging, they're fun, and they'll make people feel like they are part of a team, which is what this is all about anyway. If you're conducting your workshop in person, sticky notes, whiteboards, and easel paper are your best friends. If you're virtual, as likely many of you are, check out software options like Miro that help keep the visual element interesting, keep track of what's been said, and keep the documentation fluid in case one idea works better in another. During your workshop, start by crafting a problem statement with your team. A good problem statement defines how we think of buyers and helps us see if any gaps or patterns emerge in how we are thinking about them as a group. But a great problem statement defines who our customers are, what their problems are, why that problem exists in the first place, why that reason you just gave exists, and how both the primary and secondary reasons make the buyer feel. Ask each person to develop at least 3 different problem statements. Maybe more is appropriate depending on how many personas you have. It helps to share out what you expect a few days before the actual workshop, so they're not caught off guard by what you're asking in the moment or in case they get stage fright. And make sure you bring your own thoughtful problem statements to the workshop as well. Don't write yourself out of the narrative at this crucial moment. This is where a note taker really comes in handy, as you'll likely be trying to frame questions to keep folks focused on the right things. Asking open-minded questions and open-ended questions, starting with how might we, will get you where you need to go without leading stakeholders to the answer you want or expect. Product marketers are smart, but we're not always right. For example, how might we talk about our buyers' motivations? How might we drive action in our product? How might we consider what our competitors are up to? Write as many problem statements as you need, as many times as you need, to let people voice what's on their mind in a predetermined time span. And that's because having a time limit keeps people on track. Find your sweet spot as a team and uncover buyer motivations that were hidden or not thought through before. How might we's are especially useful to keep in mind if there is disagreement between stakeholders. Instead of letting one person dictate what the team will do, step in, acknowledge what's going on, and diffuse the tension by asking how might we's. How might we take Ms. X's perspective into account? Or how might we find a way to encourage Mr. Y's thoughts on the subject? Encouraging them to make small agreements will expedite getting to the core answers for everyone involved. The next step is much more straightforward. Document the agreements you made in the workshop. Add all the problem statements to one easily accessible document, and then analyze what trends come forth. State those patterns clearly and discuss how you plan on using these insights in your future messaging and positioning. Then share it out with participants to ensure the core team is on the same page. And once you've gotten some solid yeses, you can share your agreements with the broader team. Finally, now that you've successfully achieved stakeholder buy-in and have a document to easily reference, it's time to go do whatever you need to in order to create or refine messaging and positioning to grow the business with one commonly held vision in mind. Everyone wins, including your prospects and customers, who are far happier to see more relevant content to them and find a product that actually meets their needs. But none of this is possible if managers don't trust their people. People managers need to empower their direct reports to own their ideas, strategies, relationships, and outcomes. So if you feel your direct reports aren't doing their best work, it's your responsibility to understand why and then to believe them. Don't come to the table with blame, insults, or negativity. Come at them with the same empathy that we should be using with our customers to understand what's going on in their world. Be open-minded, be curious, and be open to change. To do that, you've got to trust them. In order to empower them successfully, be a partner, not a manager. And that means going to bat for them when they're experiencing roadblocks, and trusting that their ideas are worth testing, and having faith that letting go of their day-to-day activities will turn out fine. Only then can the real magic happen. So there you have it. This framework, when in empowered hands, can do wonders for your company and for your product marketing. It did for G2. G2's product marketing team adopted this framework after I developed and launched it earlier this year. Our product marketing team is an award-winning team, so if we use it, you'll probably find value from it too. And speaking of G2, we are hiring. If you're like me and you love the freedom to build your dreams out while making a real difference in customers' lives, while working with amazing people who care about you as a person, while having the flexibility to transform the way the company works, you will love it here. I know I do. So check us out. Well, thank you so much for giving me a smidge of your time today. I hope that you found this framework to be a useful way to design stakeholder buy-in. If you'd like to connect further or just chat about what your favorite theme park ride is, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter. My handles are below. Otherwise, I'll see you around at the other fantastic sessions the Product Marketing Festival is offering. Thanks again. Cheers, everyone.